The final day of Steve Jobs' life was on October the 5th, 2011. Even though he was a contentious figure, his achievements cannot be disputed. His ideas on creativity, work, leadership, and life could be profound yet straightforward, moving yet articulate. Steve Jobs revolutionized personal computing and developed high-end devices that sell for far more than their rivals. Additionally, he made it simple to buy and sell digital music and introduced the world to the revolutionary smartphone. But to get there, a lot of effort, commitment, and overcoming significant obstacles were required. Steve Jobs didn't become successful overnight. Jobs maintained his passion, vision, and ability to make each product his business produced truly unique throughout it all. Good Lucks is a channel dedicated to inspiring you to extend your perspective, achieve general life breakthroughs, and discover what personal achievements may bring us. This video aims to educate you on some of the life lessons that Steve Jobs, a computer designer, CEO, and pioneer who served as both a role model and aspiration to many individuals in their personal and professional lives, has taught him. He revolutionized the computer and animation industries while serving as the co-founder of Apple Computers and the former chairman of Pixar Animation Studios. At the time of his passing, his fortune was valued at $10.2 billion. After 8 years of fighting pancreatic cancer, Jobs passed away on October the 5th, 2011, in Palo Alto, California, at the age of 56. Please subscribe if you'd like to receive our daily dose of financial and life knowledge. Is there anything about life that you can learn from Steve Jobs? Here is some advice from Steve Jobs on living your best life. Let's get started. Failure is only another chance. Although it has been around for a while, most entrepreneurs are trained to steer clear of failure at all costs. Even worse, when they do experience it, they learn how to hide it. Jobs popularized the idea that failure may sometimes be beneficial. Failure can be a tool for success if you're willing to accept it and use it as a learning experience. Starting with Jobs' failure in his further schooling, this is a fantastic illustration. 1973 saw his departure from Reed College. Then he started attending classes he actually enjoyed. Failure is not the same as loss, which is a key lesson that frequently is missed. You learn from failure, which approaches don't work. Failure is a choice that leads to defeat. It is the same as giving up. It's up to you to decide to use the failure-related lessons to write a success tale. Despite challenges, have faith. When it comes to business, the word faith is not frequently used. The reality is that having faith is essential during difficult times. It may be the difference between a society surviving and a society that falls apart. What matters is that you believe that if you give people the right tools, they are generally decent and intelligent and will use them to great effect. The focus on humans in this is what jumps out. Great things will happen on your team if you surround yourself with positive people, motivate them, and appreciate them. Equally crucial is the fact that Jobs never lost sight of the fact that he worked for the people. He didn't create it for algorithms, focus groups, or surveys. He created it for humans. The key takeaway from this is to maintain your attention on providing for your clients. Determine what they want, then provide it to them. Making your product secure and private in the current climate would be an addition to making it appealing and simple to use. How to have a prosperous life. What does it entail to live a happy life? Truly happy. If you ask Steve Jobs, he will say that since time is finite, you shouldn't waste it trying to live the lives of other people. Avoid falling into the trap of dogma, which means accepting the conclusions of other people's reasoning. Keep your inner voice from being drowned out by the clamor of other people's thoughts. Most importantly, exercise the bravery to trust your instincts and follow your heart. He makes a strong case for the freedom of thought by defining dogma as the outcomes of other people's thinking. One of his greatest lessons is that becoming who you're intended to start with independent thinking. Jobs promoted bravery. To live a prosperous life, this is also essential. Without it, how could you overcome the difficulties life presents you with every day? Stay hungry and stay foolish. Remain hungry, stay foolish is one of Steve Jobs' most famous sayings.
Stay hungry, stay foolish.
It first appeared as a sort of farewell message on the Whole Earth catalog's final issue, a significant 1970s publication. This quotation, according to Mr. Jobs, served as a guide for how he constructed his life. It's simple to understand, hunger. Resting on your laurels won't lead to innovation, discovery, or advancement. But staying foolish is a little more difficult. Truly, nobody wants to act foolish, certainly not in the traditional sense. However, if we define folly as the willingness to take chances despite advice to the contrary, it ceases to be silly. One might even describe it as visionary. The fact that this quotation is still in use today speaks about how timeless and applicable it is. Let's all hope that, going forward, some aspect of that vision will permeate every entrepreneur's thoughts and deeds. Make a statement. When he developed a massive PR campaign for the Macintosh computer in 1984, Jobs essentially originated what is now known as event marketing. Steve Jobs was a genius at building anticipation and then keeping his word. Make sure to create anticipation for your offerings if you have a groundbreaking product or service, or if you can do better than anybody else. If you can meet that expectation, you can use it to expand your business. Building interest is beneficial for businesses, but only if you can satisfy that interest. Despite significant challenges, persist. The board of directors of the business Steve established fired him in 1985. But Jobs took advantage of that situation to launch a new business rapidly, raise money based on his innovations and reputation, and purchase a majority stake in Pixar. You'll encounter unforeseen challenges in life rather frequently, but you must continue to have faith in your capacity to meet any task. That increases the likelihood of your success. When life throws you a curveball, draw in your prior success to forge ahead. Have faith in what you're offering. It may have been simple for Steve Jobs to adopt the Microsoft operating system when he returned to Apple, but he firmly believed that having a proprietary operating system was one of the things that set Apple apart, and history has proven him to be correct. When you have a differentiator in your line of work, embrace it and don't compromise. Increase its size and power. There will be many individuals instructing you on what to do when you're in the business. Recognize your company's vision and put it into action. Challenge everything. Steve Jobs frequently claimed in interviews that he had always raised doubts about everything. For instance, when he observed malnourished children, he began to doubt his religious convictions. He advised individuals to challenge presumptions and rules. Many of his most original concepts were built based on this questioning. That ought to serve as motivation for us as we consider our daily lives. We are well on the road to success when we consistently ask why something is always done a specific way. Recognize the value of networking. You need to be surrounded by proper people if you want to start a project, make the perfect connection, or learn more. The association between Apple and Steve Wozniak is well known, but did you know that Jobs also collaborated with John Lasseter, one of the founding members of Pixar and the man responsible for Toy Story? Jobs offered advice when Lasseter proposed to him a script that would subsequently become the beloved animation classic we all know and love. Knowing he couldn't animate it himself, but wanted to help Lasseter succeed, Steve Jobs was not a designer and had no programming or coding skills, yet he was able to recognize and relate to people. Make it excellent was the sole advice Jobs gave him, according to Lasseter. Since that conversation, he has used that piece of advice to inform every frame of every film he has produced. Building relationships at work will serve as your ultimate business card, whether it's through recommendations, mentorship, or referrals. This idea is vital to your career. Keep up with the times, and if possible, be ahead. A pioneer was someone like Steve Jobs. He transformed how we utilize communications and foresaw the development of touchscreen technology. When Steve got back to Apple, he decided that innovating its way out of its current situation was the best course of action, rather than decreasing the costs. To innovate, you must first examine who you are, analyze your strengths and areas for improvement, then compare yourself to others or benchmark. You will be able to position yourself in the market and identify trends by doing this. Early on, Steve Jobs recognized the growing strength of the high-end 3D graphics industry and suggested to his board that Pixar be purchased from Lucasfilm. If you're looking for work and you see a need for a certain ability, or if you're a business owner and you see an opportunity, adapt and look for the shift that will position you as a market leader. We'd like to award you an extra point for your patience if you're still watching. Thank you for showing interest in this video. Love and enjoy what you do. Last but not least, one of the most significant life lessons that Steve Jobs can impart is to love what you do. Your work will take up a significant portion of your life, and the only way to truly be fulfilled is to produce what you consider to be outstanding work. And loving what you do is the only way to produce amazing work. Keep looking forward if you haven't discovered it yet. Don't give in. As with everything involving the heart, you'll know it when you see it. Always attempt to discover a reason to be passionate about your work or a certain component of it. This will motivate you and help you to stand out. Jobs thought about abandoning everything after being fired and never going back to Silicon Valley. After all, he claimed that his net worth was $100 million by the time he was 25 years old. But he was so passionate about what he was doing that he was already looking forward to the next big thing. Find the activity you will enjoy doing and be excellent at it. Even if Steve Jobs is no longer with us, his legacy lives on. He was an admirable person, and many still hold him in high regard. He led a wonderful life, both personally and professionally, and if we can take some of his advice to heart, it will undoubtedly help us succeed in life. Please post any further thoughts or remarks in the comment section below. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video so that others can watch it and find inspiration. To make sure you don't miss any of our new videos about personal development, enable the notification bell as well. See you next time.